What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, and thanks for joining us for the news today. President Lai Ching-te has kicked off a series of 10 speeches around Taiwan, aiming to unite the country. Isabel Wang reports on his first stop in New Taipei.
President Lai Ching-te greets an audience in New Taipei. He's here to give the first in a series of 10 speeches with the theme of uniting the country. It comes as Taiwan's partisan divide continues to grow. The theme of this speech, nation. In his remarks, Lai reiterated Taiwan's sovereignty, emphasizing that the People's Republic of China has never ruled the island country.
中华民国台湾，台湾都是我们的名字啦，都是我们国家的名字啦，都一样响亮啦。无论用哪一个民族称呼我们，我们都是独立自主的国家啦。有近80%民众认同中华民国与中华人民共和国互不隶属。台湾的未来由全体2300万人决定。
In the face of growing aggression from China and other pressing challenges, Lai said it is important for Taiwan's people and political parties to band together. But the opposition has questioned the timing and purpose of Lai's speaking tour, which was announced just one day after election authorities greenlit recall votes against 24 Kuomintang lawmakers. Those are set to take place on July 26.
我不知道总统的目的到底是为了团结台湾，还是为了团结他个人的权利啊？只为一人之私、一党之私，就要想消灭在野党。
The chair of the smaller Taiwan People's Party also criticized Lai's unity speeches, saying they are aimed at fueling political divisions.
为了促进台湾社会的和谐，我非常乐于跟赖总统针对人民关心的10件大事公开对谈。
The presidential office says Lai's other 9 speeches will cover topics ranging from diplomacy, national defense, and cross-strait relations, to democracy, peace, and prosperity. But with the mass lawmaker recall movement unfolding in the background, bringing the country together will not be an easy task. Scott Huang and Isabel Wang for TaiwanPlus.
A Chinese Coast Guard vessel was tracked encroaching on restricted waters around Taiwan's Dongsa Island. Taiwan's Coast Guard says it dispatched 2 of its own ships to monitor the Chinese vessel, which left the area early on Sunday morning. Dongsa, also known as Pratas Island, is one of 2 Taiwan-administered islands in the hotly contested South China Sea. It is also claimed by China. U.S. President Donald Trump is floating the possibility of regime change in Iran. That suggestion came in a post on his Truth social platform, one day after he ordered airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. The attack brings the U.S. into the conflict between Iran and Israel. On Sunday, Trump said the strikes completely obliterated Iran's nuclear program. But both U.S. and international officials say the extent of the damage is unclear. Taiwan stocks dropped sharply on Monday following the U.S. strikes on Iran. Taiwan's benchmark index, the TAIEX, opened down 2%, plunging over 400 points before recovering somewhat. Meanwhile, oil prices across Asia surged, hitting 5-month highs. The new Taiwan dollar also dropped in value on Monday. The government says it is closely monitoring the situation and will work to keep prices stable. Taiwan is about to step up to the plate in the U.S. city of Phoenix. This September, the city will host a Taiwanese heritage celebration at an Arizona Diamondbacks baseball game for the 2nd time. Chris Gorn explains how this event has special significance to the city's Taiwanese population.
We're here in Taipei, where plans have just been announced for a Taiwanese heritage celebration to take place in the U.S. state of Arizona this September. It will be the 2nd time the event has been held. The event will highlight Taiwan's culture during a Major League Baseball game featuring the Phoenix-based Arizona Diamondbacks. Organizers today revealed the event's special guests. They include former Taiwanese baseball player and coach Ati Masa, who will throw the game's opening pitch, and the Taiwanese pop group Gen Blue. The choice of Phoenix is no coincidence. That's the home of Taiwan chip giant TSMC's American facilities. And the Taiwan-Phoenix connection could be getting stronger following a recent proposal by SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son to partner with TSMC on a $1 trillion industrial complex in the city. One of the organizers says the event is an opportunity for the Taiwanese community in Phoenix to come together.
It's really, really hard work for a company that size, for employees to really pick up their family to move and relocate from Taiwan to Arizona. They deserve an event like this to help them celebrate and they're a little bit homesick, maybe, I have the feeling.
Baseball is very popular in Taiwan, and this event highlights baseball's role not just as a bridge for communities, but also for economies. Brian Wu and Chris Gorin in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Performing arts troupes from Taiwan are ready to showcase their talents at 2 prominent arts festivals in Europe this summer. Our reporter Sandy Chi went to see what they've got in store.
Showcasing Taiwan's diverse soft power. 8 performance troupes from the country are set to hit the stage at 2 major arts festivals in Europe this summer, the Avignon Festival and the Edinburgh Festival Fringe.
这2大艺术节庆不只是我们国际上表演艺术一个非常重要的舞台，一个非常重要的殿堂，也是全球艺术家展现他们的作品、互相交流并且互相激荡的重要舞台。
The types of performance range from puppetry, to dance, to magic, and many more, all exploring themes such as emotional connection, self-identity, and cultural memory. Among the troupes flying off this year is Dream Dance, who will be performing their piece Trace of Belief in Edinburgh. The artists aim to explore Taiwan's traditions after being inspired by temple processions.
我们想要传达就是我们本身是台湾是一个多元文化的融合，然后还有我们自身在当今的现代还有很多，比如说道教或者是佛教，还有一些传统的庙会仪式，还是在发生在一些当今的社会上。然后这些东西，然后在我自己的一个当代的一个舞蹈的传统，就是做结合的时候，我们发现有很有趣的交织和融合，然后找到一个新的面貌和语汇这样子。
And Dream Dance hope the performance will strengthen the faith and inspiration of their audiences.
因为信仰这件事情本来就是存在着每个人的心中，希望透过这个东西可以带给大家很多很多的力量，然后感受到很多很多的信仰或是信念在自己的身上不断的发光，然后支持继续生活生存下去的一个轨迹和路线这样。
Taiwan has been represented at the festivals in Edinburgh and Avignon for over a decade now, and will continue to take part in the events to better showcase Taiwan's culture globally.
亲爱的台湾艺术家们，你们是台湾文化的使者，不仅代表台湾创作力，也代表我们的价值、信念与文化自信。文化部将持续作为你们最坚实的后盾，将台湾文化 推上更高、更远的舞台。
With the Avignon Festival getting underway in July and the Edinburgh Fringe in August, the countdown has begun. These artists are more ready than ever to share their talents with the world. Fu Huahong, Eason Chen, and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese Taigi and Scots Gaelic were once languages struggling for survival. Now, they're being celebrated in a new book featuring stories from authors living thousands of kilometers apart, but who are united in their passion to revive their mother tongues. Rick Lawrence caught up with the book's publishers, Hannah Stevens and Will Buckingham, to learn how this project started.
So first we're going to zoom in and talk about your book, Taigel. Can you tell us what format the book takes?
Okay, so the book is called Taigel, Stories from Taiwanese and Gaelic. And we've been working with 4 writers, 2 from Scotland who are writing in Gaelic, and 2 from Taiwan who are writing in Taiwanese or Taigi.
And we're not just commissioning new stories in those languages, but we're also translating between them. So each of the stories will be translated, so from Gaelic to English, to Mandarin to Taigi, and from Taigi to Mandarin, to English to Gaelic. So each story by all 4 writers will be in 4 different languages.
So there was a lot of editing, translating, working with different writers in 2 different continents. Could you tell us a little bit about the experience of putting this book together?
Yeah, so it's been fun and it's been interesting. It's been really lovely, actually, kind of bringing together writers in the different countries. Also, while we've been based in Tainan, so we had a writers' circle which was online that brought us all together in the first instance. So writers could get to know each other, could start to share ideas, talk about their respective countries. And just kind of get comfortable with the idea and the project.
So the project started back in sometime last year, early last year. We were up at National Taiwan Normal University at a conference on national languages. And as new immigrants to both Scotland and Taiwan, we were interested by language diversity. So we were at this conference and there were people talking about the marginalised languages of the UK, the marginalised languages of Taiwan, and we thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a project that brought these 2 parallel experiences together? So we started thinking about that. We applied for a grant from the Scottish Government, and we were successful in that. Then went and tracked down some absolutely fabulous writers from both Scotland and Taiwan to work with.
And what did you find whilst you were working together with these different writers and working in often marginalised languages?
I think all languages have almost infinite possibilities for expression. And that goes for English, for Mandarin, for Taigi, for Gaelic, and for all other languages as well. When we asked the writers to write these new stories, we got together and we talked about these common experiences, but we gave them quite a lot of freedom to write the kind of stories they wanted to write. What was interesting in the translation process was how many echoes there were between the various stories. For example, off the top of my head, one thing that cropped up several times was grandmothers. And here in Tainan, if people are learning Taigi, why are you learning Taigi? Well, to speak to your agong ama, to speak to your grandparents, because of that generational split. And also one of our Gaelic stories has this focus on that kind of generational transmission as well. So there are quite a lot of lovely echoes between the stories, which came out through the translation process, which is quite collaborative.
I think for me as well, it was really interesting, actually. So as a translator, I think people have to be very meticulous, have to be very precise, very careful. But also what really struck me was that people have to be really creative and imaginative as well, especially if there's not a direct phrase or a direct word. And so that kind of imagination and creativity really struck me and was just really lovely as well.
And we had a lot of fun with that process of the translation. So, for example, in one of the stories, there's a banyan tree outside the temple, but in the Taiwanese it just says a tree outside the temple, and every Taiwanese writer will know that's a banyan tree. But we got it into English, and then we were thinking, what's an English-speaking reader going to imagine? Will they imagine an oak tree? If it's an oak tree, that doesn't work. So some of the stories we've added in context to sort of carry over something of the cultural flavour as well. And so that process has been really fascinating.
That was Hannah Stevens and Will Buckingham from Wind and Bones Books, publishers of Taigi. For the full interview, watch Zoom In, Zoom Out on TaiwanPlus.com. And thanks again for tuning in here for What's Up Taiwan. Follow us on social media for more updates from us in your feed. Finally, we head to Paris, where the hot air balloon for the Paris Olympics once again took to the skies of the French capital. I'm Eric Gao, and I'll see you later on Taiwan Plus News.